True boating fashion, we found out that a lot of our jobs that we're supposed to be doing today are going to be a lot bigger than we had planned.
More of a project than we were expecting.
Welcome back to another episode of Breaking Waves. This is Beck, our jean vest loving, fearless captain. One day he convinced me to go along with him on the adventure of buying and moving onto a sailboat, Kiana. And since then, we've had no regrets. I'm Allie, by the way, first mate and fishing enthusiast. And together, we've been exploring the Pacific Northwest, and one day we hope to take her home and our surfboards even further. Oh, this is Bruce, our sandy boat dog. Thanks for coming along with us, and special thanks to our patrons for keeping us going. If you haven't already, hit subscribe and don't forget to hit that bell. Oh my god. I can't believe this is a thing right now. Over the last couple of months, while the cruising weather is a little too cold, Ben and I put in some time making improvements to the boat.
Back to the engine work. I haven't been able to fire up my engine now, and I believe I have air in the high pressure system of the fuel lines. No matter how many times I tried to bleed the injectors, I couldn't seem to get fuel running out of them. And I brought in some help here from the marina. He started playing around with the solenoid, and it stops fuel from going to the system. So what's happening is that there's a fault in one of my two kill switches. All right, that's really good news. That is a huge relief. It's nice to hear that engine running again.
And it's been a couple months that we haven't had a stove. We've been using a camp stove. We saved up enough money that we get a brand new marine stove today. Ooh, there she is. For the first time in a very long time, we actually had a working marine stove. And then it stopped working again.
Almost had my second boat fire. It probably happened while I was sleeping. That's scary. This kit, it was about $300 after tax.
And we highly recommend you research smart plugs for your boat as well. I picked up our new dinghy and engine and brought it back to the boat. I don't even have to lift a finger. These guys are such gems. Or well, the guys at Stone's Marina did.
I think that's it. I think that's my whole sort of wish list for the next 4 or 5 months. Fix whatever else breaks. Surely there'll be something. Bloop.
Which brings us to about a couple weeks ago when we hauled out. In true boating fashion, we found out that a lot of our jobs that we're supposed to be doing today are going to be a lot bigger than we had planned. So we expected that. We actually left a whole weekend and we could really do a lot of our jobs hopefully in one day. Got a sweet crew here. I used to work at Stone's and noticing how much harder I work on my own boat. I have already got a relationship with the staff here and they're wonderful. Not only are they really knowledgeable, but they're actually really kind. And if you ask them questions, they're more than happy to stop and spend a couple minutes giving you some tips and stuff. So sun's starting to come up and hopefully the day will warm up a little bit. So. And it's a good thing we had help because we were pretty surprised to find a big crack across the front of our keel. We arguably weren't going to tell you guys because, I don't know, this one hurts our hearts a bit, but I guess our keel bolts are too loose, which has allowed the lead of our keel to separate from the fiberglass. So there's a little crack in here. And apparently it's very, very common. They've nicknamed it the Catalina smile because it happens a lot to Catalinas. But water has gotten in the crack. It sucks. Anyway, so I have this little guy and I'm grinding down all the paint and all the fiberglass until there's bare metal. And then we gotta clean out the water of the fiberglass and get all the shit out of there. And then we have to crank the keel bolts, tighten it. We'll probably, Rob, the guy who works here, so we'll probably get a couple turns out of it. And then once it's done, we have to seal it.
Fill it all up with sealant and then ferret flush.
Yeah, and then paint it, and then it should be fine. I think Mitch got a little frustrated with me. He came to look at how I was doing and was like, that is not a good job. Let me. And he came and basically did it for me. So it's all cleaned up now. We cut out all the moisture and we're happy to find that it really hadn't gotten that deep. And then I'm just gonna try and mix up some epoxy and hardener so I can pop it on there, let it dry over the next couple days, and then hopefully it's dry enough, like tomorrow, or that we can sand it down, paint over it. Looks like ice cream.
Wanna lick the spoon?
No. Man, I feel like I'm so blind right now. I don't know. I want to ask them too many questions. I don't want to bother them. They're so forthcoming with knowledge. It's incredible.
Not quite there.
Oh man.
That's tomorrow.
Anyways, this is my first time doing this, so a little nervous, going about it blind, but I'm learning so much. They're so great here. Hopefully Sunday, everything will be dry enough that we can sand it. Oh, thank you so much. Ow.
What a day. I had a bad day. Allie crushed it. She got all the work done. I just opened up a fire extinguisher in our V-Bird. Welcome to season 3. I just pulled the pin on our old fire extinguisher all over the inside of our boat.
That was the first thing that happened this morning. We were both like, today's gonna be a bad day.
It was a bad start.
We both came into this day thinking that I would just be painting the bottom. It would be nice and easy. Ben would just be popping out the old transducer and putting in the new one. And both of us were surprised that it was a significantly bigger job.
That's it.
Hopefully tomorrow is a smoother day than today, but I mean, honestly, every day you're learning something. So even if it is like today.
Yeah, I'm glad we got Saturday, Sunday. We got 3 more days on the hard. I feel like we're kind of know what we're up against now. We got the whole day. I'm not kind of working at the same time, and we're gonna get it done.
Good morning. We are on day 2 of the yard now. Hopefully today is the day that I paint. It's supposed to be yesterday, but things came up. It's a little bit quieter here today. The store is open today, but the boatyard isn't. Although I think Mitch is still going to be here to put like some boats in and take them out of the water, which is helpful because he's an absolute wealth of knowledge. But yeah, we'll get some more stuff done for Kiana. Ben's tackling the transducer, but that's going to be a huge job, so fingers crossed for him. So while I started tackling the bottom paint, Ben made moves towards one of the bigger and more daunting projects of our boat, installing a transducer.
These are the old through hulls for the old speed sensor and depth sounder. And so unfortunately it looks like neither one of them are suitable for the new transducer. I'm probably gonna have to punch out the old depth sounder one and install the new sleeve. The other one I might just blank off. It's already got a plug in it. It's not doing anything. It's not causing any issues. So if you've been following along, you know that ever since we've had the boat for a year and a half, we've done 2 summers of cruising basically and a winter. And we've had only our foam with Navionics on it as our chart plotter, and no depth sounder, no wind, no speed, no nothing really, which is kind of, in some ways, it's kind of nice because it's super simple and you get a feel for what the wind is doing without looking at computers all the time, you know, to help you figure out how to adjust the sails. So I don't think it's a bad thing, but it's really the depth, like not having a depth sounder, it's just not a good idea. And so, yeah, that's one of the main reasons we wanted to haul out this spring, get the paint job done, and get a transducer in, are really the 2 most important goals. So I've got this, what is this? It's a DST 800 multi-sensor, so it does depth, speed, and temperature. We were gonna go with the forward scan transducer, which I originally had bought, and decided to return it and exchange it for this one after realizing that it doesn't give you speed, it doesn't give you temperature, and I also think that the install will be a little bit easier, and we only have 3 days, well 2 days now really to get this done, so I just wanted to keep it as simple as possible. So anyway, I'm gonna open this up and give it a go and show you guys what I learned. Okay, so I had a tip online. This is the old transducer, and obviously it goes into a sleeve of that diameter. And then the new sleeve I'm trying to put in is slightly larger, quite a bit larger I guess. And so I found a set that has the ability to screw in a second saw on the same chuck or arbor. And now this guy will slide into the existing hole perfectly and keep everything centered, while this guy drills out the new hole that I need. So hopefully that works. It was a good tip from a cruisers forum on Facebook. That guy fits in there just perfect. It'll keep me nice and centered while I drill out the rest. Kind of weird drilling a hole in the bottom of my boat like this. How far we've gotten. Well, that is just so much easier than. Honestly, thank you to the internet for giving me this tip, because it just saved me a few hours, I think. This is what the core of my boat looks like. Rob behind us, he's the polishing pro, and Ali's getting a lesson on how it's done. I'm probably going to regret using my finger right now, but it's just easier to do it this way. So I'm getting the inside of this core hole. It'll help with waterproofing as a backup measure. And now I'll probably have epoxy on my finger for the rest of my life. That bolt right there where the zinc usually attaches to, sheared off. We actually didn't have the zinc when we hauled out, it was just gone. And these holes, because there was no zinc and no screws in them, have become, I don't know, full of barnacles or something. So we're gonna have to re-tap these holes. We're gonna have to remove this bolt and tap that hole maybe. Actually, probably want to tap that one. We got a bit of work to do to be able to get the zinc there. When we started the day, I was a little bit anxious after I watched a YouTube video on how to install the transducer, about how long it was actually going to take, and needing to let epoxy set and all that kind of stuff. And I was also feeling anxious, I think, about putting a hole in the boat and, you know, just committing to completing this project before we go back in the water in a couple days. But yeah, we made good progress on that. I'm feeling confident we'll get the transducer done by Monday. We made Ali did a bunch of painting, a bunch of buffing. We scraped the prop. Did we do anything else today? Got the anodes kind of figured out. We got some challenges with our zincs that we'll have to solve tomorrow. But anyway, we got a bunch of work done the first 2 days, and we still really have 2 full more days to go. So I think we're on track. Feel good about it. I'm kind of exhausted.
Like I'm a little bit spent, but satisfied and spent, and like a good day of work was put in. Stoked on the transducer. I was worried about it, but yeah, pizza, a nude. I feel good. Early bedtime. Ugh. And on that note, we're gonna say goodnight too, with a huge shout out to our new patrons, To the Horizon Sailing, Laurel Jackson, and Chad Rathliff. Not only do we appreciate you hugely, but a portion of all the proceeds from Patreon this season goes towards Rugged Coast Research Society, a non-profit geared towards cleaning up the coast. Thanks so much for watching, and we will see you at the next episode.